It's Rob!
Tony!
And I'm Jeff.
We're in gaming.
And that's you.
Hello gamers and welcome back to the And I'm Rob.
I'm Tony.
And today we're going to be talking about part 5 of our Whispers of the Old Gods. Just to keep in mind though, before we even start, let me just say, the cards we review in this video is, when we're making this video, is the most recent cards that have been announced. But if a card is announced after we make this video, obviously we can't cover it, therefore it won't be in this video. So just to let you guys know, that's how these videos work. We can't announce cards and talk about them until they're released.
Yeah, so like let's say the Tickle Ghost comes out. The Tickle Ghost, 4-drop, 4/5, kill your opponents through tickling, comes out after we make this video.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm just saying we can't review it.
Yeah, like the Masters of Evolution got released 2 hours after.
Like literally
like 2 hours after we had already made part 4. And we received...
Someone's like, yeah, they're Master of Evolution.
Yeah, so we just kind of, you know, we go with the punches, and we're going to talk about as many cards that are out as of now, and if something gets released, you know, 5 minutes after this video, there's nothing we can do. We can't just, hey guys, just going to input through the side here, just to let you know.
You just have to wait till next week to hear our opinions.
Exactly. So, Masters of Evolution, I actually really wanted to talk about this card when they announced it, because it's a really cool ability, and there's not really anything out as of now that has something like this attached to it. So it's a 4-drop, 4/5 battle cry. Transform a friendly minion into a random one that costs 1 or more. So the first thing that comes to mind is that the adventure mode boss that we battled, and she actually, all minions on the field died at the end of the turn, and it came back as 1 stronger for every minion on the field.
Where she used the splash ability.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Lady Nazjar.
Yeah. So what it really reminds me of is that boss fight, which was a really fun boss fight.
That mixed with Recombobulator.
Yes, Recombobulator, but that's also the same cost. This is +1.
Oh, yeah, but I'm saying the same type of ability.
Yeah, the transformation effect, definitely. Also, if you have Bran out, it'll go +2 above. The only problem with this card, though, what comes to mind is you don't want to use it on a minion that's, like, has full stats on it. So let's say you have a 4-drop Chillwind Yeti, he's a 4/5, and you decide you want to play this on turn 5 and transform him into a 5-drop, well, maybe the 5-drop you get is going to be lesser in stats than the 4/5. So, like, this guy really comes into play. Let's say your Chillwind Yeti has maybe 1 or 2 HP left after he's attacked and killed another minion. Then you can go ahead and transform him because he's most likely going to die the following turn anyway. To maybe like I don't know, the spell that comes to mind is Arcane Shot, even though it's never played. But, you know, like a lesser spell or a lesser creature is able to easily kill him, but this guy will actually, you know, make him into hopefully a stronger creature, but more so just make sure he doesn't have that 1 to 2 health, which he had in the first place, because he's already got the value out of him. Right. So,
or also minions that just have a strong battle cry to begin with, so their stats suffer. So people used to use like Recombobulator on...
Anti-Keelbot.
Yeah, Anti-Keelbot was perfect. A 5-drop. It turned into a different 5-drop after you got that battle cry. This, I mean, that'd be in Wild. You play this on an Antique Hillbot, it turns into a 6-drop creature, and you know, there's a lot of strong 6-drops in the game.
I think a Bloodhoof.
Sylvanas. So sick.
Emperor.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good stuff that this guy can do.
I like how you immediately just name legendaries. But I mean, they're all possible.
I mean, those come to mind when I think of 6-drops. I don't really
those
think
are all really
shitty
good
6-drops.
There's a lot of good 6-drop legendaries, so.
For sure. And his stats are really good. Like, for a 4-drop, 4/5, are you kidding me?
He's better than a Yeti. He's, by default, better than a Yeti.
Yeah. And you can play 2 of them. Because he's only a rare.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Shaman card so far. Every Shaman card we've talked about has seemed to be pretty good
so far.
So I really don't find a problem with the direction they're taking Shamans. All right, next card. Ravaging Ghoul.
You want me to go over this one?
Yeah.
Okay. So with...
Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
And if you hear the rustling going around, it's Marshall. He can stay in here if you want.
You gonna stay in here, Marshall? There you go, boy.
He doesn't even know what he's saying.
All right, so it's a 3-drop, 3/3, Ravaging Ghoul. Deal 1 damage to all other minions. As we know, Patron's losing 2 very solid staples in their deck. Patron Warrior, they're losing Deathbite and Unstable Ghoul. So they're getting a new Ghoul to replace that same kind of Whirlwind ability. Deal 1 damage to everything.
Yeah.
So...
You mentioned they're losing Deathbite, right?
Yeah, they're losing Deathbite and Unstable Ghoul.
Yeah.
So those are both staples in that Patron deck. Mm-hmm. So I think this is a very good replacement for this. This kind of synergizes well with the Tentacle and Azoth or whatever. Deal 1 damage to everything. That's a neutral minion, but it kind of has that same effect that the Patrons are looking for to be able to pump out more than just one. You know, it sucks to play it. And
well, they have Whirlwind and Inner Rage, but the Despite is just such a huge loss because you can Despite and then you actually don't have to pay any mana the following turn that it gets that Whirlwind effect because it's just this death rattle.
It's a solid tempo play. You can kill a creature and generate at least additional creature, sometimes more than that.
Like Despite was so good for the Patron Warriors, and the fact that they're losing it is the fact that they are because they're losing it means they have to, they're not going to be able to fit in that hole. No way. Despite is just too good to replace, but they're going to try to fill it in with cards like this.
A different type of tempo step.
A different type of deal 1 damage to all of their minions. So I think it's a good direction. I like the card. It goes along with the Warrior synergy as well because it's deal 1 damage to all of their minions.
That Frothing Berserkers.
Yeah, there's tons of Warrior synergies with that, such as Alkalite of Pain's another one. So
and Rages. All that good stuff.
Next card is Meyer Keeper. This is a 4-drop Druid card, 3/3. Choose one. Summon a 2/2 slime or gain an empty mana crystal. So by default, you either have a Wild Growth attached to this, or you have the 2/2 slime, which kind of reminds me of Sludge Belcher, but instead of it being a 1/2, of course, it's a 2/2. I like the fact that you can choose one. Druid is very,
that's their mechanic.
Yeah, that's their mechanic, is you're able to transform a minion into one or the other, or choose one or the other. His stats aren't bad, so basically a 4-drop 5/5 you're getting if you choose the slime, or you're getting the 4-drop 3/3 with a Wild Growth attached to it, and the Wild Growth, as we know, is 2 mana to begin with, and this is only 4 mana, so it makes sense.
More RAM for the Druids. I mean, if they are going to nerf Force of Nature Savage Roar, they might need more ramp abilities instead of smork abilities.
Yeah. I would have preferred this to maybe, if this was a beast,
oh man,
that would
awesome.
be insane.
That would be good. And it summons a 2/2 like wolf or something. Some sort of beast.
No, that would be way too much synergy. That would be fucking insane. Are you
think
kidding
so?
me? Oh yes. If this was a beast and it summoned another beast, are you fucking kidding me? I mean, hell yeah, I'd go for it.
Savannah Highmane?
I would love to play some
Savannah
beast.
Highmane is a beast that summons 2 more beasts.
Okay, well that card's just absolutely insane.
It is so.
That card is so.
That is like one of the best 6-drops.
It is the best 6-drop. If I think of the best 6-drop that if it connects to the face once, you win that game. If it's Savannah, it's literally a general rule of thumb in almost any tournament, and almost any streamer, caster, professional player, if Savannah Highmane can meet your face just once, you basically won that game. Because it's just too much damage, and then it turns into 2/2s, and the 2/2s are 2/2s, and they're hyenas, and they're beasts. Anyway, guy's good. I like him. If he was a beast, it would be insane. But for the most part, I don't have any issues. Do you have any issues?
No.
All right, awesome. No issues here. All right, next card. Ooh, I like this card.
I do too.
All
right. Hammer of Twilight is a 5-drop 4/2 weapon for the shamans, and it says Death Rattle. Summon a 4/2 minion. I really like this one because it's Twilight Hammer, the weapon from World of Warcraft, Hammer of Twilight. It is this weapon, and I like that weapon a lot. But that's irrelevant. I like it because it's a good alternative to Doomhammer for like the control matchup. So let's say Doomhammer.
It also gives your opponent less of an incentive to Harrison.
Yeah.
Just my quick point, real quick, and I'll let you get back into it. Summons a 4/2. If they Harrison this, let's say they draw 1, but it summons a 4/2 card. They play Harrison on 5, and the 4/2 can contest Harrison. I think it's almost a direct counter. I wouldn't say a counter because Harrison does still give you value, but the 4/2 can kill Harrison.
Right.
So that's really cool.
But I like this a lot more for like control shaman because with Doomhammer, you can deal 4 damage a turn with the unbuffed, but you're also going to take twice as much damage if you're targeting creatures. So let's say you have, a creature with 4 health out. Let's say there's a Shredder out, even a Shredder, Pilot Shredder. You have to swing into it twice with Doomhammer to kill it. That means you're taking 8 damage. This, you hit into it once, it kills it, and then when it dies, you can set up a pretty solid board clear. Like you can kill the card and then get a 4/2 creature at the same time. I really like it, and I like the stats too.
The only problem is the mana cost.
The mana cost is pretty expensive, I will say.
I mean, on turn 5, it can basically contest whatever creature they play on turn 4 to 5, which is, decent, but at the same time, Belcher is going away. I was going to say this versus Belcher, it's obviously going to take 2 swings to kill Belcher, and then the 1/2 slime almost contests the 4/2 elemental that comes out of it, and on top of that, if you attack the Belcher twice, you take 6 damage, but because of Belcher is leaving us, and I doubt they're going to put in as many solid 5-drops as Belcher. We've even seen by some of the cards they've released thus far, they're hanging around, which we'll get into him. Chogo is a 7-drop. These cards aren't as good as Dr. Boom, but they're not complete shit. They're in between, which is where they need to be at, because you can't just release fucking.
You can't just keep putting out broken ass cards.
Yeah. So I mean, I think this. I like this card a lot. I think it's solid. I think the effect is really cool. The 5 mana cost. I mean, it is expensive, but I mean that's what we're gonna see. We're not gonna see this turn into a 4-drop and it be the new Despite. You know what I mean? So you can't really complain too much about the drop because they're trying to push away from cards that fit into every single deck, no matter what. Like Doctor Boom, for example. I hate to keep
literally over 80% of all decks.
Yeah, like I hate to keep bringing him up, but it's a perfect example of a card. No matter what deck you play, no matter what class, no matter what archetype, he fits in there, and that's unacceptable for a card game to have a card that literally fits into every single slot in every single deck. That should not happen.
No.
I mean, some cards maybe, like if it's a polymorph in a mage deck, of course that card will be seen a lot because it's a core card. But a neutral legendary, like come on, like that just should not happen. And, sorry to go on a little rant, but it's just really it's enlightening to see cards like this that are good, but they're not crazy good.
Right. Most definitely.
All right. Did you go over the last one? You did.
Yeah, I did.
Blood of the Ancient One. So this is pretty interesting. Sorry if you hear a truck in the background. There's a big truck passing us. All right, so he's a 9-drop, 9/9. If you control at least 2 of these at the end of your turn, merge them into an Ancient One. So I have a couple things I want to say about this. In order to get a golden Ancient One, you actually have to have 2 blood of the Ancient Ones that are golden. You can't have 1 and 1 non-golden. Not that this reflects the card at all. It's just a lot of players have been asking, how do you get a golden Ancient One? You actually have to have 2 blood of the Ancient Ones.
Do you have a picture for the Ancient One?
I suppose I can pull it up real quick. Actually, when I'm editing the video, I'll put it off to the side somewhere. But yeah, he's a 9-drop, but the drop doesn't necessarily matter because when these 2 guys merge, if you happen to have these 2 the same creatures on the board, they merge into this guy, and he's a 30/30.
30/30.
He's fucking huge. But the problem, there's a couple problems with this. First, really hard to bring them out. You have to keep Blood of the Ancient One, get 2 of them on the board. Then, at the end of your turn, if you happen to get 2 of them, it summons the 30/30, which then is your opponent's turn, and they're able to react to that 30/30. So whether or not they BGH, they Hex, they Polymorph, they Freeze, you know what I mean? There's plenty of things. They Sylvanas and Shield Slam their Sylvanas and take it.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And then give it Charge.
Oh man!
So
that's like OTK right there.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of factors that have to go into pulling off a combination of Blood of the Ancient One to pull off that the Ancient One. So I think there'll be definitely decks that revolve around this, and there'll be more gimmick decks. They'll be really fun. There'll be a lot of crazy plays.
I think the only deck that would be able to successfully do it within a 1-turn area is like Druid because of cards like Naga Sea Witch and Aviana.
Well, I'm thinking of like a mage deck in Wild. So you just play this guy. Obviously, they're going to need to kill the 9/9. It gets duplicate, and then you go ahead and you just keep playing them until your opponent can't deal with it. And then by then, you can. It almost makes me think Value Mage because the amount of echoes, duplicates, and then by the time they deal with it, the 9-drop 30/30 comes out, and then you go ahead and echo and play another one.
Or Battlecry Mage for you who don't know it as Echo Mage or Value Mage.
I think he's gonna be definitely not a how you say him.
I don't think he'll be very competitive, but he'll be very fun.
Yeah, no doubt.
And also the art for him, if you guys are probably looking at it right now, if Rob remembers to pull this up,
I will. Rob, remember.
It's so insane. It reminds me a lot of Magic the Gathering, the Eldrazi's kind of.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, Eldrazi, Hearthstone.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of it, minus the eyes.
All right.
Okay, Blood Warriors. It is a new warrior card. And it says, add a copy, it's 3 mana, by the way, add a copy of each damage-friendly minion to your hand. So essentially, it is a Echo of Medivh for warriors, which is kind of interesting. And I keep talking about like synergies around like patron warriors. I was telling Rob that it seems like Blizzard's really trying to keep patron warriors going strong because a lot of that deck revolves around dealing damage to your minions and battle rage to draw a bunch of cards and things like that. You know, you have 3 damage patrons, you do this, and you get 3 more patrons in your hand for literally endless patron nonsense. Or that, or if you're, what is his name?
I have no idea.
Hellscream. Oh my god.
What is his name?
If Hellscream lives a turn and you're able to get his Enrage off, you can duplicate a Hellscream for more Hellscream fun nonsense. So I think it's a pretty cool card. I don't know how reliable it's going to be, though, with them having to be damaged. You know what I mean? So it's only going to fit in very...
I mean, I see it in patrons more than anything. I mean, that's everybody's first thought. There's not really any super synergies that come to mind besides, the typical patron. And I think it'll be decent because normally when you're playing, like, let's say I'm playing patron warrior and I'm going against, let's say, a mage. After I've played my, the 2 patrons in my deck and I've made as many patrons as possible and they've dealt with those, the deck really has nothing else. Like, it's got maybe Dr. Boom or Hellscream. That's and Berserkers, but the Berserkers no longer can attack right when they come out because of the Warshack Commander nerf. So I think this gives Patron Warriors a way that if they're able to pull off this combination, they can play more patrons besides only the 2 in their deck, which sometimes just isn't enough because your opponent, if you're playing against a priest and you're playing Patron Warrior, well, G, Light Bomb, they're dead. Holy Nova, they're half dead.
Revenge, Flame Strike.
Revenge, there's tons
Every
of cards.
Every class has pretty much a card to deal with a board.
Besides Druid.
Besides Druid. Yeah, Druid's got nothing.
Unless they Moonkin swipe. For 8 mana. But anyway, I think it's cool. I think it's a...
Double mulch. No, not mulch. 1-drop kill, they draw 2 cards.
Naturalize.
There we go.
So yeah, I think it's a cool card, and it'll probably be pretty annoying if the Warriors able to pull it off. All right, so we have Call of the Wild. It's an 8-drop, summon all 3 animal companions. So the first thought in my head is 8 mana to deal 5 damage. This is not the face card of the next generation of Face Hunter. Because technically, if you've got Misha, you've got Leok, and you've got Huffer, and then as we know, Leok gives everything +1 attack. Misha is a 4/4 taunt huge bear, and then Huffer is a 4/2 charge card, but because Leok's out, the Huffer has charge already, and then he gets +1 attack. It does 5 damage right away for 8 mana. And if you're going for Face Hunter, this is not the card for you. If you're going for Control Hunter, which in my opinion will still never be a thing, this is definitely a card you're looking to play, but you're still going to lose because, like I said, Control Hunter is not going... You can't... Unless you get Murgleton and you change your passive to something else.
Like warrior passive with a heal?
You cannot make a class with an aggressive passive a controlled deck. Because as we know, warrior, they have a very defensive passive. They're able to live longer. Their weapons allow them to take face damage and not worry about, dying because of how much damage they're taking because of the armor up. Priests, they can heal themselves. Mages,
off creatures.
Mage, rogues, and druids can help deal with the board through their passive of killing creatures to keep board control. Hunter can do none of that. They literally say, I'm going to kill you. I'm just only going to kill you. I don't care what's on the field. I'm just going to kill you and your hero and everything about you, and I'm going to win the game. So making cards like this for Control Hunter, you have to first analyze the Hunter passive, and it's never going to change. It's only going to be 2 damage unless you Murgleton. And Murgleton's going away in a year.
This is true.
So you've got a year to play Control Hunter. And you're going to lose because it's bad.
Well, that's Rob's opinion on this.
It's actually not bad. I'm sure you can play Control Hunter and win games, but it's just, why play a Control Hunter when you can play a Control Warrior?
This is a good point. It is a pretty solid point. Yeah, Rob actually guessed what this card was going to be right off the bat. He saw the art and he's like, it's going to be summon all 3 animal companions.
I mean,
it was just a guess at how much mana.
It just speaks for itself. I mean, it has a picture of all 3 animal companions.
When you have Misha, Huffer, and Leok all in the same card picture.
Huffer looks straight up demise, bro. Dude, he's got red eyes.
He is mad.
The bear looks like...
He's happy. He looks like from that... what is that one movie with the bears in the woods?
Next card.
Nature... I don't know. Call of the Wild? No, that's the name of that card. Spreading Madness. It is a 3-drop Warlock card spell. It says deal 9 damage, randomly split among all characters.
The maddest bomber.
The maddest of bombers, yes. So some people are really excited for cards like this. Other people really don't like all this RNG nonsense. They've looked at this expansion to be less RNG based, like GVG was.
Well, when we hit our last card, the last card we're going to talk about is literally the most RNG you could possibly fit into a game.
Ever ask for.
Yeah, it is. You couldn't ask for more RNG than the last card we're going to cover. Like, there's nothing more random than that. But we'll get to that soon.
So in a way, I kind of like this card because let's say you're running some sort of control and they're able to fill the field, pretty decently. Muster for battles, things like that.
That won't be around.
We still have to consider wild.
No.
we still have to consider
I'm not
wild.
going to do wild deck guides. I'm not going
I know you're not, but I'm saying that people watching this might be interested in the wild.
They know what's up. They're going to play standard. They're like me.
Well, anyway, let's say they're able to flood the field with a bunch of cool stuff. That new 5-drop put 5 silver hand recruits
That's what I'm
out.
saying. Think critically here. The 5-drop, summon 5 little musketeers.
Either that, or if like pirate rogue or pirate hunter becomes a thing, you're more likely than not you're going to be able to. Let me speak slower so that I can actually get words out. You can kill off most of their field and not worry too much about hitting your face. If they have 3 creatures and their face, that's 4 targets to 1 you.
It's good against aggressive decks.
Yes. Or if you have Ancient Watcher out.
And it kind of reminds me of a replacement for Death Lord.
Garabashi Berserker.
Ooh.
Here we go.
I actually see that. I see that now.
Yeah. So either Ancient Watcher or Garabashi Berserker.
That seems cool.
It seems fun. But anyway, it's not much to say about the card. It's very, very RNG based, depending on the situation.
It also adds another spell for our last card to shoot.
Oh, man.
All right. So we got Chogo. He's a 7/7, so the same stats as Dr. Boom, but his ability is far less superior, or not as good as Dr. Boom, but it's better than Fizzlebang. So he's the Warlock Legendary, as you can tell by his purple color. He looks...
I don't like the art. It looks awkward. It's too far away.
I think it's all right. It could be worse. It could be better. 6-packs does he have a 6-pack or is that a 12-pack? I don't know. Anyway, he's Battle Cry. The next spell...
I like you didn't even say 8. You went from like 6 to 12. Not even 10. Just like 6 to 12.
The next spell you cast this turn costs health instead of mana. So as we know, Warlock uses health as a resource almost... I wouldn't say all the time, but there's tons of cards within the Warlock class that, Pit Lord, the Warlock passive... You take Flame 2 Imp. Health to draw Flame Imp. There's a lot of cards that make you discard. Wrathguard. So using health as a resource is not anything new. But using your health to cast spells is new.
It's pretty cool.
And it's actually pretty cool because on turn 7 you can go ahead and play the Chogo and then maybe combo it with like a Siphon Soul like Tony mentioned. So basically for 7 mana, you summon a 7/7, can kill a card, and you only have to lose 3 health because Siphon Soul actually grants you 2 health, but Siphon Soul costs 6 to begin with. Yes, you lose 3.
Yeah. Because Siphon Soul gains you 3.
Yeah, and it's gonna cost 6.
Yeah.
So, Anyway, I like it. I can see it for some reason like a tempo Warlock kind of deal.
Imagine if Mage got this card or a card kind of like this.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of really, really, really solid Warlock spells. They're good, but they're very control-based.
If they're good, they cost a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So
and if they're
you wouldn't play this in Twisting Nether. I mean, unless you really on turn 7, you really needed to clear a board, but you're gonna be taking 8 damage. So it's
and you killed the card you just played.
Yeah.
It seems like Warlock spells, like you were mentioning, is like they have really good 1-drop spells. And then the rest of their spells cost like 5 or more.
Remember when Soulfire was 0 mana?
Yeah, they've got, for 1 drop, they've got Mortal Coil, they've got Corruption.
Soulfire.
They've got Elven Archer. They've got Corruption. Alright, so the last card. Drum roll, please.
The new old god. It is Yogg Saron, Hope's End. Very powerful name. Very scary name.
His stats make me so sad.
Yeah, he's a 10-drop 7/5.
Hello, Illidan.
Which looking, oh god, significantly. I mean, stats are actually the same, but mana cost. But anyway, his battle cry is probably one of the most exciting battle cries I've ever seen. You cast a random spell for each spell you've casted this game, and the targets randomly chosen. So, let's say you're playing something like...
Before you start, the only thing not random in this card is the amount of spells that were cast in the game. That's the only non-random factor about this card.
Yeah. So let's say you're playing something like Freeze Mage, Miracle Rogue, Control Warrior, things that just have like lots of removal, super spell heavy. If it gets down and you have, let's say you only have 10 spells that you cast all game, and you cast all of them before playing Yogg. That means when you play Yogg, he's going to cast 10 more random spells. They could be
any class, any mana cost, target whatever the hell he wants. And then to begin with, we're actually going to make a video right after this explaining how good is Yogg Saron, breaking down how many spells are on the game, the probabilities of what kind of spells you're going to get. And then what kind of benefit and not so much benefit you're going to receive when playing Yogg. So we're actually going to go over that in quite some detail in the video after this. I'll actually put the annotation on the side, and if the annotation's not there when you're watching this, that means the video is not done yet and you're watching this really early. And then for those of you who are all watching it, the annotation should be on there, and then you can see all the information that we find on Yogg. But obviously when he comes out, there could be new spells from when we talk about this. Until
less than half of the cards have been announced.
Yeah.
As of right now, so there will be more spells. It'll be exciting.
So we'll take it as a general sense of what you can expect, because I'm sure they're not going to release some way out there spell that's going to change the whole dynamic of spells in Hearthstone.
You never know.
But anyway, you were going.
But I mean, it's just really cool. I mean, a lot of crazy things can happen. You could kill yourself. You could OTK them with 3 Pyroblast to their face. You could heal them and you draw 3 cards. Yeah. Or
there's so many things you can lay on hands of them. Like Tony said, you could Pyroblast yourself. You could
Ancestral Calling and then double sprint.
The worst thing that comes to
Ancestral Communion. Wow.
The worst thing that comes to mind, honestly, is like all this stuff happens, right? Like you're gonna be able to unstable portal, maybe summon some stuff, draw cards, kill creatures on the floor,
Twisting Nether.
And then at the very end, like the last spell cast is like Twisting Nether or Doom. Or something, or like some card that just
Renounce Darkness,
yeah,
Doom.
Some card just clears the board, and all of Yogg's hard work will be for nothing.
Polymorphs himself. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for that.
I'm sure we're gonna see some crazy plays with Yogg.
Yeah, a lot of people are looking forward to Trollden in these videos.
And so it's gonna be pretty insane. How competitive he will be, I'm not sure. I honestly think he might be pretty competitive. Maybe not a tier 1 deck, but he will, be able. I bet there'll be Yogg legend decks.
I mean, when you can, I think of Elise in terms of kind of the randomness and exciting random factor that's been put into legendary so far. People looked at Elise at first and said, "Oh, this card will never see serious play. It's too chance based." And now you look at it, and it's a staple in the control matchup and the fatigue matchups.
So and both priest and warrior.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's become a card that you now need to have to survive the game, and there's strategies behind when to Elise and Monkey at the right time. And if you would have said that right when they announced the card, Marshall, lay down. People would have laughed at you. They're like, "No, that's crazy. It's never going to see serious play." And then now we're looking at a card that possibly has a very similar outcome.
You want to say hi, Marshall?
You want to say hi? Oh wow. This is the first time they probably ever saw part of the stage.
Wow, I fucked up this mic so hard. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, that blue stuff you saw over there was the in-gaming stage.
Yeah, you guys will never see that stage.
Probably not.
Anyway, that pretty much wraps up Yogg. And question, comments, concerns can be left in the comment section below. I'd be interested to hear what you guys have to say about these particular cards, as a lot of these that we talked about are really exciting, and I think they'll make a impact into the game, and they will make it very fun.
And interactive.
As always, guys, I'm Warshack.
I'm Tony.
And happy whatever the hell day it is.